Oh, we love
The whiskers, though.
Hey, we are on the air. We are on the air. This is Ann White, the founder of the Creating Calm Network. And I see I get so excited. I forgot what I'm the founder of. And I am here with two very talented women. I'm here with Angie Ledbetter from Louisiana, who is a dabbler and a napper, a writer and a photographer and an artist. And in her closet is Kathryn Magendie, who is an author, and I've been busy staying up late reading her books, being swept away to the mountains. And she's also a photographer, personal trainer, and we have a contest about her closet. We think it needs a name, and we're down to two, right, Kat?
That's right.
Yeah, so the suspense continues. We thought we would name the winner today, but we're down to two, so we'll do it for a vote. And today we have a topic to discuss. Ta-da! And our topic is going to be how our setting, how geography, the world around us affects our lives and our work. We're going to probably focus more on work, but we have to get into our lives because that's part of our work. And together we have a wealth of talent in, like I say, art, photography, writing. So we're just going to open it up and, in general, see how our geography affects us. And Angie, your husband, Dennis Ledbetter, is what kind of, it's more than country. It's a country singer, but he's got this kind of nice other thread in there. How would you describe his music?
Traditional country, does a lot of ballads, and it's like the original 50s Hank Williams, George Jones type of country.
And we use that for one of the openings for this, one of the advertisements, because he's got this wonderful song called By Yourself, and it's filmed in the bayou as well. And you could really see how the bayou affected his music. I don't know, don't you see the thread of the Louisiana bayou coming through his work?
Right. A lot of his songs focus on Louisiana or some aspect of living and being born and raised in Louisiana.
Yeah, so that I thought was a good example for us to think about, and that's why I posted it on Facebook. So if you haven't seen Dennis Ledbetter's By Yourself, I have a hard time saying, I want to say By Yourself, By Yourself. Just see the beautiful bayou going through that. Who is the photographer before I go on? We want to give him credit.
I can't remember, but Jamie Fernberg is the one who put the video together for him. He's a local great videographer.
Great. And when you look at the video, the photographer's name is right there, so he'll get the credit for that. And so, and a lot of your work, Angie, is Bayou or Louisiana inspired. How does Louisiana affect what you do?
It's pretty much in everything. You know, where you're born and raised, and me being here my whole life, you write what you know. So that's what I know, and that's what I love. So that's what's going to come out in my writing.
And your photography.
And my photography.
Right. And Kat, are you born in the mountains? I know your cup says mountain girl.
Yes, it does. I was actually born in West Virginia, so but I wasn't raised there, but I was born in the mountains of West Virginia. I have a lot of hillbilly relatives running around barefoot. No, I'm just kidding. Well, no, actually, I'm not kidding. People think that's a cliche, but you know, actually, I am barefoot most of the time. I'm barefoot right now. Don't like.
At least you're not pregnant, so it's the half of that cliche.
And I have all my teeth, and all my family has all their teeth. Thank you very much. So, and though I have drank moonshine, I don't have it in jars hidden in my backyard. So.
But it's in your closet. I know it must be in there somewhere. And you know, one thing I wonder is, like, I was a military kid, so I traveled all over. I lived in Connecticut. The last 30 years, I was in a beautiful part of Florida, St. Petersburg, right on the bay, beautiful trees. But I moved to Wisconsin when my life kind of did a tumble. And it feels very much like home here, although I'm not from Wisconsin. And I wonder if somehow we are predetermined or more comfortable in certain areas. Like, and I think, Kat, you have moved around enough. It feels to me, I know you're now in Texas because you did one of those geographical things like I did.
Yeah.
But your home seems to be, or your heart, seems to be in the mountains. Do you think we're torn, or we're more programmed to be in certain geographical locations?
Yeah. In fact, when I moved to the mountains in my little cove at Killian Knob, in western North Carolina, I was there 10 years, but when I moved there, I felt like I was home. And I didn't think I would be leaving because that was home. You
Yeah,
know, I felt that's where I belong. So it's very discombobulating to be away again from a place that I thought I was going to stay. It's difficult to look at pictures of the mountains and think about that place that I didn't ever think that I would have to leave. But you know, sometimes you just do. You just do what you have to do, and you suck it up.
and
So you
I
know, maybe
see
one day I'll
you're
return.
looking at Texas. You're finding beauty in Texas, but I can feel your heart as mountains. You really are a mountain girl.
I am, and there is a lot of wonderful and good things in Texas. So I will not knock Texas. You know, I lived here a long time ago in Fort Worth. I lived in Fort Worth as a child. One of my brothers was born in Fort Worth, but and there are
Looks like somehow we have a little
nice
technical
things about
difficulty.
Texas, but
Uh-oh.
Oh, we've lost her. And
Uh-oh.
she's very resourceful, so I know that Kat will be back to us, broadcasting from her closet. She's on her iPhone, so I know that she will be back. And she does have backup today because she does have a computer in there. Angie, while she's working her way back, what do you feel draws you with Louisiana? You're a native of Louisiana, right? And it's very much in your work. What's the draw? Why does it feel like home for you?
I've lived here, born here, and it's a wonderful place that not many people, more people now are getting to see about it, with Louisiana being so popular on the A&E network and all the swamp shows and our great chefs and everybody. It's a culture outside of itself as well as being part of the United States. It's just like being in a different world.
It is, yeah. And the swamp, the bayou, really adds a different kind of, it's kind of mystical, the bayou.
Right.
What kind of energy do you feel when you're out? Because you've taken bayou photos before. What kind of energy do you feel?
I always think about the people who lived in that region, and what I love most about it is they are a people, the Cajuns especially, who've made a success of themselves. They're Renaissance men and women. They've taken whatever little bit they had on hand and made something beautiful and wonderful and nourishing from it, no matter what it was, by their own guts and ingenuity.
Yeah, yeah. I love stories of the bayou and things like that. You have a poem that I call kind of Louisiana, and then it really weaves your life with the geography. Would you share that poem with us?
Sure. I just so happen to have a copy
yay!
You're
here.
Oh,
back.
y'all are back!
Hey,
Woohoo!
Kat.
Somebody
I
called
just
me.
asked Angie to share her poem, which I think weaves her life with her geography.
I'm
So,
so sorry. I forgot to turn off my phone, and someone called me, and it just knocked me right on out. So I need to learn how to fix that. So
well, I'm glad you're back. Yeah. Okay. Angie?
All right. The name is This Louisiana Woman's Hike Through Her House. This Louisiana woman's hike through her house is like a Lenten penance all its own, with wires strung out, snaking between TV and couch. Single socks, once white as egrets, smelling of dead gardenias. Near unnatural blue spruce Christmas tree still standing in mid-March. Sweaty, she treks over frayed, faded towels, floating like scum on some bilious bayou to the bathroom. Sidesteps small swamp of yak hacked up by the dog, drags to the dryer to pick a son's pocket of dried pack of gum minus one piece. Then on to Trail's End, the kitchen, where she kicks shoes big as alligator snouts, gathers droppings of Splenda packets, banana peels, trash, and covered in dust bunnies the size, color, and consistency of old Spanish moss, her husband's wedding ring.
I love that. You know, it's sort of Irma Bombeck meets the Bayou.
It's a good way to put it.
Kat, had you heard that poem before?
I read that poem. I'm a fan of Angie's poetry because she gets right to the heart of women in relationships and marriage and doesn't sugarcoat it. She has a talent for knowing the heart of a woman in all different stages of her life, and I love her poetry, and I can't wait for her to get that collection that she's doing published. So I think it's going to do very well. So,
I do.
Very accessible.
Yeah, if that's any example, which I know it is, I'm really looking forward to it. Does your poetry collection have a name?
It has a working title. It's basically 3 sections based on the 3 decades of a marriage, and it's called Circling the Drain.
Circling the Drain?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I hate to say this, but I'm a trauma chaplain by former training, and that used to be one of the things. Are they circling the drain, or can I, you know?
Right, that's where it came from, that same medical reference.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, Kat, you had talked about one of our topics being relationships, so it sounds like Angie then can give us the stabilizing three what did you call it, 3 decades of a marriage or 3 chapters of a, yeah.
Dang, that's a long time. I don't think I'll ever be doing that again. But you know what? They keep saying never say never.
Right.
Yeah, I think I just marriage. I don't believe in it.
Yeah, and for me, I kind of like living alone now. You know, it seems very peaceful, and so I'm pretty happy here. We'll see. Never say never, but Angie, you have been both to Louisiana, Baton Rouge. Kat, that's where you met Angie. Was there?
Right.
How do you feel when you're in Louisiana versus in the mountains? Because the Louisiana Bayou kind of has that mystical thing that I think would appeal to your wild woman a little bit. Your cray-cray self, as you say.
Yeah, I lived there a while, and I have written a few things. In fact, my first book is both in Louisiana, South Louisiana, and in the mountains of West Virginia. So it has the flavor of both. So
Which book is that?
that's the Tender Graces.
Okay, I'll get
Graces series. Yeah. So you know, and a couple of my short stories are Louisiana based. So there is Louisiana. There's a lot of things I could never live there again, but there's a lot of things I really love about Louisiana, the oaks, the moss. You know, there is a lot of really eerie, mystical things about Louisiana that I love. So it does inspire me to write about them. So,
right.
And I lived there long enough. I feel like I you know, would be able to write well about them. So.
And I just started. I've read 2 of Kat's books so far. I've read The Lightning Charmer. Great storytelling, but I just finished Sweetie, and I was telling her before we went on, as Sweetie would run through the mountains after the weekend of reading her, I felt like I had scratches on my arms from chasing her and running on the same paths. I was so brought in to this story. And so last night I started Tender Graces, and there was a part in the very beginning that I texted Kat and said, this is what we should share because it really shows how mountain life weaves in. And she said that was the part she had planned. So this is from Tender Graces, and if you would go ahead, because I can't pronounce the name of the horse, so I'm glad you're reading it, not me. How do you say the horse's name?
Fiona Dalla.
Fiona Dalla. There we go. See, yes, I can. Okay.
You know how kids name things? They don't name things always simple like Sue or Bob or something like that. They have to have something that just pops out of their head, and that's how that name came about. So she was a kid when she named her kind of imaginary horse. That was the horse that whenever, you know, I just realized something. Virginia Kate would hide in the closet. I just realized that she would hide in the closet whenever her parents would fight. You know, they were alcoholics, you know, And uh, and when she would close her eyes, she would imagine that she was on the back of Fiona Dollar galloping up the mountain. And I just realized, here I sit in the closet. I need me a Fiona Dollar. So,
Or maybe a unicorn would work, but that's okay. Fiona Dollar would be fine.
so I'll read this tiny. I'm just going to read this one little paragraph
Yeah.
about I hope you're thinking of the same one I am. When she takes Mama from her pack, is that what you talk about? Yeah. All right. Okay. Here I go.
Hey, reading.
That's from Tender Graces. So, Grandma Faith wavers in the mist. The wolf calls, the owl flies, the mountain is. Up, up I go on Fiona Dollar's back, her hooves thundering. I see my child's eyes only through the closet keyhole. Dark eyes are open, then closed. Thundering hooves, up the mountain we ride. Up the ridge I stop, take Mama from my pack. And there, with mountain song rising, with fog wetting, with Fiona Dollar nodding her head, with the fiddles of the old ghost of old mountain men crying, with the voices of all I've lost and all I've gained, with the mountains cradling, with the West Virginia soil darkening my feet, with Mama's cry of, "Do it!" I open her vessel, and as I twirl, turning, 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 I let her out. She flies out with a sigh, with 40,000 sighs. As I come to rest, she settles upon me, settles upon the trees and mountain and rock, settles, then is finally stilled. The owl cries, the wolf calls, the mountain is, Grandma Faith nods. Mama is a part of it all now.
Beautiful.
That's it. You know what? That was written, that was actually a last minute addition to this book. It was after I'd moved to Killian Knob, and I was driving down the mountains, and I was feeling like my book would never be published. I was feeling like no one would ever read my stuff. I would write anyway, but I just felt this loss and this feeling of it's never going to happen. And I had this music on. It was this fiddle music. I think it was Lionheart, and I'm trying to remember the name of the group. But anyway, it's very soulful. And I was looking at the mountains, and suddenly that image of her galloping up the mountain came to me, and those words began to come. And I ran back home, and I typed up that passage, added it at the last minute before I sent it to my not before I sent it to my editor, right before I found my publishers. And I always kind of feel like that was the thing that set it over the edge that helped me to find my publishers. But it was such a last minute thing, but it's just such a perfect thing, and it's one of my favorite passages. So anyway.
I loved it, and I love the cadence as well as the imagery and the words. And I know that, Angie, you also teach writing, right? You have writing groups and a writer yourself. What do you feel when you hear that kind of music?
What do I feel when I hear what?
That reading that Kat just shared with us.
I think Kat is a master at making the geography and the setting its own separate character. And that really draws the reader in, and it just makes the whole book come off the page rather than stay flat. Hey, son, here's my middle child.
Oh, there we go. Hello, you're on the air. Yeah. So I thought it was a great example, Kat, of just weaving it all together. But I like what you did. We have a dog going on. You're going to wake up early.
Sorry.
So who was that little guy? Is that was it a Boston or somebody?
Yeah, that's Bandit.
Yeah, when he has
bad.
Too.
Happy to see his brother.
Yeah. So I love that as an example, though, of geography and being a character. And it really, that whole line stays within the book. It really sets the scene. But I like the mountain is.
And it is. There's, the mountains are shaped by time and wind, and the Western North Carolina, the Smokies been around for millions of years. They're some of the oldest mountains in the world, so they're changed by time and wind and rain and, you know, the elements and people trotting on them, but they will always be there. So I do, and thanks, Angie, for what you said, because it is, I feel like my place and my setting, they are like another character. And it makes me feel a little sense of pride in my work when people comment on that. I mean, I always, you know, have heard I'm good at character development, but I really feel like my sense of place and setting is something that I want people to feel down in their bones. So I'm glad to hear that. So, woo!
You know, one of the things too with geography is it affects our life. And for me, you know, I can't really share from my books because I have 4 nonfiction, and nonfiction is very much like a technical writing. You know, so my brother is an author and he writes fiction. I got 2,000 words a day every day. But, you know, in nonfiction, you can do that because, like I say, it's more of a technical writing. But I'm writing a memoir now called The Year in Sheboygan. And because it's personal, it deals with how I felt when I left Florida. And as things were collapsing around me, Florida, with the humidity, felt so heavy. It just felt heavy. So by moving to the seasons of Sheboygan, I moved in the winter. I missed the snowstorms. I wanted to get snowed in once. But I got the coldness, and it felt good for my heart because my heart felt like it was closed at that time. And then when spring came, it felt like I was beginning to heal, and I could smell and see, and my heart started to open. And now summer is here, and it's more expansive. So I'm using the seasons in that memoir to kind of go along with the healing that has happened to me. Now, the only thing is I don't know what's going to happen as we get to fall and winter again, you know, but it's only June, and so far it's coming along. So in this memoir, I can see using I guess it's seasons, geography, it has to be because we have seasons in Sheboygan. But the other thing for me, and I'm going to ask each of you, is water is very key to how I feel. So right now I'm by Lake Michigan, which is a powerful lake. It's a big lake, so it's not like a little nice lake. It's very moody. And then the river, Sheboygan River, is kind of a snaky brown river. And they meet right together, and that's like a vortex of energy, and I'm right in the middle. So that energy is very helpful to me, and that's what I was wondering in your geography, where you get that energy. So for me, it's that water, and in Florida, it was the water too. I love Lake Michigan. It's so moody. So who wants to go with how or what part of the geography feeds their soul? How's that? Kat, you want to?
Yeah.
You know, where is your soul fed from geography?
I mean, you know, I'm going to have to go back to the mountains. I mean, when I lived in my little log house, there was a creek, rushing creek right in front of my house. There was the mountains. There was my critters, my pet crow, who would call out to me if I didn't throw something over the side. You know, there was trees, and you know, I'm having to get used to, I'm going to have to find my peace here, not just in my closet, but somewhere out in nature. I'm going to have to find that peace in my place, and I haven't, you know, found that yet. And until I do, I'm going to feel displaced and a sense of like I'm losing something of myself. So I know I'll find it, and if I don't, I'll just have to visit places to find that. So, but yeah, it was that the sound of the wind through the trees and the mountains there and the rushing creek. You know, I just need to find where it's going to be here in Texas. So, yeah.
And it's interesting because you might have been alone in a sense in your cove, but it sounds like you were just surrounded by so much life with your squirrels and the trees, you know, even whispering to you at night, your moon that you could howl at.
Yeah, you know, there was the good and the isolation and the loneliness. was bad. You know, I thought I craved that, but after 10 years of it, not being around people and not having experiences with people, I think not only was affecting my writing, but it was affecting me. You know, I always said, well, you know, I don't do well around people, and I do have a hard time, you know, around people. I'm not, you know, very good in social situations, but I think that really something inside me craves being around people and interacting with them in some way. And being there was very, very isolating and very long. There would be, this past winter especially, I went 2 weeks where I never saw another human being. You know, I was completely and utterly alone. And what you think you want, and then when you really have it at its most extreme, you find out that maybe it's not exactly what you want. So,
Yeah.
so it had its drawbacks, you know, in all that beauty and solitude. You know, there can be too much solitude, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. That's true. Yeah, because I hermit here. I came to Sheboygan because I didn't know anybody but my brother, so I could be a hermit. But there are days when I just have to go out and see other people too. So, yeah. Angie, what speaks to you of your geography? What nourishes your soul?
I love that we're here. We're right at the mouth of the Mississippi, that timeless old man river, and that is always there, dependable, beautiful, supportive of life. But we're also on the Gulf of Mexico, and being on the Gulf Coast is exciting and beautiful in its own different way. And then we also have bayous and marshes and waterways to explore within the two boundaries. So it's a lot to offer.
Yeah, yeah. And do you get your soul nourished from the water or the smells, or like if you're just having a cranky sort of day and you step outside, what do you look for to just kind of calm or nourish?
I'm not nervous real often, and I love being around people, just the opposite of my friend Kat. But if I need inspiration, I get in my car and drive 30 minutes in any direction, and there's always something to explore. The flora, the fauna that exist on the bayous is just wonderful.
You better keep talking, Angie, because I don't know. I don't see Ann. I think she left.
Hey, Ann.
Hey, we have control now.
The bad thing you don't ever want to happen. Oh, there she is.
We have control. Oh,
we were just about to take over your network, Ann.
I know. I think it's at Mercury in retrograde. All of a sudden, it's like, ah. So did you get your soul nourished while I was gone, or?
Yeah, we were going to start taking over, and it wasn't going to be party. So.
Goodness. Did you answer the question, Angie? I will make you repeat it if you did.
I did.
Okay.
It was lovely.
Yeah, well, I'll listen to the replay, and I'm glad I'm back. And I thank you both for being with me here on Tuesday morning coffee. I don't know why I had it in my head for Monday. It just has sort of an alliteration. So Tuesday morning coffee, and wish you so much wonderful magic during the week. And anybody who's listening to us, magic. If you're a writer, write. If you're a photographer, do it. If you're an artist, just have fun and be creative. Go out and play and be creative. And I love that we shared this topic, and we're going to have another one for you next week. We don't know what it is. It's a surprise, but it'll be a surprise for us. We'll think of something nice and juicy for next week. And Kat, we're going to have a vote for the name of your closet. We're down to 2, so we'll let our fans vote on it, because it does need a name. Just because like if you could name Bandolala, what's her name? The horse?
Oh, Fiona Dalla, yeah.
Fiona Dalla. And then the closet can certainly have a name too. See, I name things like Fern and Harriet and Stella, so I guess I need to put some lalas on the end of my names. Anyway, any last minute thoughts for people who might be watching? Angie, you want to just say goodbye, or is there anything on your mind you want to just share? Or I love your haircut, by the way. Cool haircut.
Go out there and explore and live life. Don't stay up in your house, closeted in. Don't have regrets. And we were good today, weren't we? We behaved.
Yeah, hey, give us a topic, and we are just Wonder Women. Look at us. Yeah, and then from the closet is the beautiful cat, and just go find magic today. You know, make some magic if you can't find it.
That's right. Make
Yeah,
your magic.
yeah, and we'll think of a good topic. Like I say, you had some really juicy ones, so we'll see. Surprise, we'll surprise you next week, everybody. So take care, and thank you for tuning in to Morning Coffee. By the way, I just want to say that on Thursday of this week, I'm going to be doing a Google Hangout with a 9-year-old boy, Daniel, I'm going to say Bisonet. He will tell me if I've said it wrong, from Vancouver. He spoke at the Monsanto rally in May, and he is an amazing kid, and he asks why. Why are there toxins in my food? Why would the government want to allow GMOs to be in my school lunches? Why can't we have gardens at school? 9 years old. This kid is a hero. So I'm looking forward to talking to him on Thursday. And if you want to watch that, it's going to be at daniel.creatingcalmnetwork.com. So I got so excited when I got Daniel to agree to an interview. So 9 years old. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Yeah. What a little dynamo. He's going to change the world. But anyways, we go out and change the world in our own way. Bye, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Go get a
Bye.
cup of coffee.